Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a beginning of the month for the month of January and the new year tarot oracle reading. And Gemini, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign isn't Gemini, we still all have a little bit of Gemini in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is it in? That is where this energy shows up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. I already shuffled the cards. I've just given them a quick cut and shuffle. And we'll begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. Please keep in mind that this is a collective or general reading. Parts of it may or may not resonate with you. So take what works for you, leave the rest. So the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck for the reading is competition. We have the Five of Wands here. So the Five of Wands represents a conflict of some sort. And this energy has been coming up a lot in the readings I've done so far. And I feel like it's because we're moving from one cycle into another. 2025 was 2 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. It's a 9-year. And that's representing like almost a decade of energy in a cycle. And that cycle is now coming to an end as we move into 2026. 2026 is 2 plus 2 plus 4 is, 2 plus 2 plus 6 is a 10-year. And if you break that down, it's a 1. So we're not just moving into a new year. We're also moving into a new cycle from a decade, right? And into another cycle that begins the next decade. And so this energy is about conflict of some sort, and it's due to immature competition. When you realize that the real competition is within yourself, then it doesn't matter if you have competition in your work, competition in your love life, competition in your in your chosen field of where you work or whatever, a sport, any of that. You are, sometimes going to get a trophy if you come in first. Having said that, the real competition is within yourself to be the best version of you and to have like a strong attitude, while you perform, if you're in sports or that kind of energy. And so this is talking about immature competition, and these are adolescents. So it's kind of just that energy of just not being mature enough to handle, but this can happen. Some people take a long time to mature. So this can happen at any age. And so this represents, it's my Mean Girls card. It's the energy where narcissistic cheerleaders, and they'll do anything to win. And if they don't succeed, then their mothers will. That kind of energy. And then so this is for the overall reading. And now we're working on the internal forces, like what is going on within you and what do you have control over. And so this is the what ifs. This is like when you're saying to yourself, what if this happens? What if I do this and that happens? That kind of energy. And so Temperance is actually, both of these are fire wands action, but Temperance represents the Sagittarian energy of the last new moon, which was on the 19th or 20th. I'm doing this reading on the 23rd, and it will be in time for Christmas Eve, tomorrow morning. So this Temperance is about being on your path that you were divinely put on this earth to be, pouring into yourself so that you can stay strong and continue to be on your path. This angel has one foot in the universal waters and one foot on earth. So it's kind of talking about the spiritual and the physical meeting together and making what God put you on this planet for, to make that happen. And so we have the Nine of Cups coming in. So this is about a wish that you have, that you've always had, that you wanted to do. And this is kind of like the energy. Nine of Cups, there's only 10 cups in the tarot. So 9 of Cups is one away from having ultimate happiness and love. And the cups actually represent romantic love a lot of the time, but sometimes they represent something you love to do, something you love to be, that kind of energy. And so this person, it's a public figure, it looks like, and they're on a stage, so everybody can kind of see what's happening with this. And their body language is incongruent. If you look here, in the bottom half of their body, they're leaking energy. Their toes are pointed outwards, and their upper half is closed. So this energy is talking about someone that maybe has it like recognizes, hey, I'm so close, but you don't know whether you really are going to be able to have this ultimate fulfillment. And so this is talking about you may have the wish that you want this, but it's going to require you to stay in the game, stay focused, and many a race is lost in the last lap. So this is talking about if you have a wish and you're wishing for something, it means you don't have it yet. So if you want to have it, you're going to have to keep working towards it. This reading in general is past, present, and future. So are those cups above his head and they're already there, or are they behind him? Has this already happened and you're already working on that 10th cup? That's the energy. Take it how it works for you. We have the King of Swords here. So the King of Swords is sitting on his throne, and he's in a position of an authority figure, generally, someone who's professional. It's funny, but I'm picking up this could be a hairdresser or someone that owns a hair salon because it's about the cutting energy. Someone that has a business, someone that's in charge, someone that uses their intellectual ability to bring a business about. And this is a professional. So someone who's a professional, it could be a professional hairdresser and an owner of a salon, someone higher up with authority, or it could be the energy of someone who is in the top of their field, like an actor, someone who reads a script and, can act and put it out there, someone who's very good at a lawyer, that kind of energy. It can be regarding a business, running a corporation, that kind of energy. So someone, whatever field they've chosen, it's got to do with words, and in some cases it could have to do with scissors. It's making me think of Edward Scissorhands, that kind of energy. So this is someone who has a brilliant mind, and this is a double-edged sword. So it's about having discipline of your mind allows you the freedom to have what you want. And when you recognize that you're not really in competition with the competition, but you're in competition with keeping your mind disciplined, then that energy allows you to move forward in a strong way. And this also can be someone that other people look up to for advice because they're good with their words. They're good at solving problems. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles. So the 8 of Pentacles is talking about someone who's done a lot of work. So this could be why you have all these cups here. And so this energy is you put a lot of work in, or you had this great idea and now you're starting it and you're putting the work in. So this card represents the energy of truly about money. The Pentacles are about health, wealth, happiness, abundance on the 3rd dimension. But this card, it's the only card out of all the Pentacles where the person is actually working on the actual coin. And so, just like the double-edged swords, the coins have head and tails kind of energy. And so it's coming up that you're either on the 2nd pentacle of this great idea you had and have these to go, or you've already done all this and you're on the 2nd last. I feel it might be the 2nd last because you already have 9 cups from the effort that you've put in. And then we have the Knight of Wands is coming in. And the Knight of Wands is Sagittarius energy. We just had a new moon in Sagittarius on the 19th or 20th, depending where you are. And this energy is talking about action. And that's the other wands that we have so far in this reading are this action here, immature competition. We have a rebel with a cause, someone that is, the knights would work for the king, and they would deliver messages, and they would travel far and wide because the only way to deliver the message was by night, by letter, and it had to be handed in person. And so this, nowadays, this Knight of Wands, because all of the figures in the archetype are in the tarot are actually archetypes. So like the King of Wands could be, the King of Swords could be someone, a male in their masculine energy, but they could also be a female in their masculine energy. And same with the Knight of Wands. So, and the Knight of Wands could work for the King of Swords, or the Knight of Wands might be delivering a message from the King of Wands to the King of Swords, that kind of energy. In any case, there's some communication coming in. These days, it's unlikely to come in by horse. It could be in person, but it's more likely to be something like a text, an email, social post, that kind of energy, a letter. And the Knight of Wands is a rebel with a cause. So it's something regarding like passionate energy. And you notice that his horse is bucking up. That's because his horse wants to go faster, but he's reining it in and making sure that he arrives on time and isn't careless, like that. He gets there and makes sure that he does deliver the correct message. And then we have the Ten of Cups. So it's a very important message is what's coming up about the work that maybe the King of Swords has done, or that the Knight of Wands or the King of Wands has done, and he's maybe getting advice from the King of Swords, like what should we do next, kind of energy, like what kind of paperwork needs to be done, if this is like a lawyer energy, that kind of idea. So the Ten of Cups is the ultimate fulfillment. So it looks like you stayed in the game and you did what you needed to do and kept, focused on your work, which this is showing here. And now, because of that, there's this new message coming in, very passionate about what you're doing, and also a lot of emotion behind it. But the King or the Knight of Wands is reining that horse in, and the horse represents the emotions. So then we have, it's really funny. I don't know if you can hear it out here, but someone's revving their engine up outside, and it's really reminds me of this energy, like someone who's a hothead, and they're irritated because someone's not moving fast enough for them. That kind of energy, or the energy's not moving fast enough. That kind of energy. They've been out there for like the entire reading so far, just revving their engine, not going anywhere. But I have a really good mic on, so it's canceling out the background noise, so you might not be able to hear it. So the Ten of Pentacles, this is a lot of money. This is a legacy. We have 8 here, and I feel like this ultimate fulfillment for what you love, like this represents romantic love. It represents like having a strong partner in business or in a marriage or whatever, a strong commitment. A family, you love your family, you love your partner, you love your business, you love where you live, you love, 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 love. You love your life. Your life is awesome. It's like the all-American dream kind of energy. It's raining money. You don't have to worry about money. You live in a really safe neighborhood. You have a large, property in-house. You have time to go visit with your neighbors and with your friends, and you have pets, and it's kind of, you love your pets too, that kind of energy. And so this is really feeling really good, Gemini. This is feeling really good. Let's see now. This is how you identify yourself right now, like on the verge of having this and this. The 10, like to have both of them. Some people, have the money, but they don't have the love. And some people have the love, but they don't have the money. You have both. And then we have the King of Swords. Like this is how you see yourself, how your self-worth is. And it's kind of like you won't put up with bullshit. If you're running a business, you want things done a certain way. And it's like, cut the bullshit out. You don't entertain that. I'm the boss. This is what I say needs to be done. If you don't do it correctly, then I'm going to have to find someone else to do it for me, kind of energy. And then this is the communication from your early life, that if you put the work in, you'll get the result and you'll be able to rule the world. And then we have the home and family. So this is your emotional foundation. This energy can be very entrepreneurial and kind of like very enthusiastic and a little bit kind of aggressive energy at times. Like kind of people learning, having a hot temper in that, and maybe words being bantied about, and then, but in the end, it's kind of like, okay, it all works out because there's this energy here. This represents your creativity, your romantic life, and if you have children, raising children. So this could be an energy that you already have a family, or that you have a desire to have a family, past, present, future. And then I explained this card, but this is in your health, your daily routines, and your habits. So this energy is, no wonder the competition wants it, right? Because like, who wouldn't want this? You're in a really good way. And the reason for that is because you've poured into yourself, poured that into the universal waters. So it's a win for you, it's a win for your family, and it's also a win for the earth and the entire universe. Because you're on your divine path. You're doing what you came down to this planet to do. And this is what this is the energy that you deserve. Awesome, Gemini. And so this, I feel like on some level, this is talking also, Gemini is kind of like at the stage of life, that energy is about like starting school. And, the world is a university, and we all go to school in the university of the world, what we call life. And this is, you've had a very strong foundation, I feel, with clear-cut, like, discipline, that kind of understanding, money. I feel like you've come from a family that if you didn't make money, like, or if you don't come from a family that has had generational wealth, you might be like new money now. Like your parents may have become successful and taught you how to become successful, and every generation becomes a little bit more successful because of it. It's required patience to get there. It's required putting the work in. And this energy doesn't want to put the work in. They just want to win, that kind of energy. So let's look now at what are the external forces coming in. And we have this card here, the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups represents the energy of reconciliation. It can be of forgiveness. So there's some sort of energy here. The external forces are talking about, it would be like if you're laying awake at night and you can't sleep and you're wondering, like, what the F happened? Like EF, external forces happened. And you have control over how you deal with external forces. Like you could let the competition wear you down and you could just quit. I give up. They're better than me. They're going to win. You could get into a lot of arguments and fights with the competition, that kind of energy. But if you stay on your path, then, it will be. And I feel like this external forces, like this is coming in from energy, perhaps from when you were a child. So because I was picking up this energy of the parents coming in, and it also can just talk about bullying at school, that kind of energy. So you might have been someone who is bullied or was a bullier, and that energy is coming up, and it's about reconciliation with that. So this card of reconciliation, often it talks about forgiveness. So it could be something that happened to you when you were a child, and it's about forgiving. When you look at this card, it looks like two kids, like, and they're playing or whatever, and there's all these cups with flowers in them, and there's someone watching over them. When you look closer, you realize this is actually a gnome. And this is either an old woman or a young woman that's really small. And she's wearing a mitt, and it's white. And the white flowers and the white mitt represent innocence. So this is kind of talking about going back to your innocence, or even as an adult, choosing to remain innocent in your heart, so that you're more playful about your energy rather than being someone that is serious all the time. And so this external force can also talk about having something happened in your childhood that you need to forgive other people, forgive yourself, to reconcile it in the way you were raised. I feel like this is external forces, though. So sometimes the competition acts immaturely because they weren't taught these skills that you were taught, because their parents were maybe working 3 jobs each just to get food on the table, that kind of energy. And the watchman in the background isn't watching over the kids. They're actually walking away. So maybe they didn't have anyone to watch them when they were kids. So they didn't learn the basics of how to move forward. And that's kind of the energy of, like, it's not condoning the behavior, but it's explaining it, if that makes sense. So if someone has done something and you know, they're asking for forgiveness. And it's like, this is kind of like the time of year. Like, this is going to be Christmas Eve morning that I release this. So this energy is talking about possibly like you're back with your family, reunited. And it, you know, sometimes when that happens, it brings up a lot of energy. And maybe you're visiting with cousins, and you're visiting with people in the community. Like, maybe you come from a place, you know, and your parents still live where you were raised, and you go back there. And that quite often brings up a lot of these memories. So I'm getting it could be something like that. Maybe you run into someone that bullied you at school or whatever, and you're like, or that you bullied, and you're asking, hey, you know, how are you doing? And like, and you're more mature now. So you know, that kind of energy. So it feels like there's some sort of a reunion of some kind. Sometimes that's just within ourselves, and sometimes it's with other people. And I feel like, because this is the external forces, and we don't have this energy in here. The only thing we have is understanding that the competition is within you, that you have to just keep being a better version of yourself to be able to succeed in life. And, you know, this energy is more like someone who didn't have that upbringing to understand that. And so the Ace of Pentacles is coming in. And so, I don't know, maybe you're going to bump into someone that, because this is saying there's this person that you bump into or that you see while you're like maybe traveling, or you're off work right now, or you notice something online and you see a post from them and you say hi and you send them a message. I haven't seen you in 20 years kind of energy. That kind of energy is... this is saying that the universe and God are rewarding you with this Ace of Pentacles, because you've stayed on your path, and that this, whatever this person is, they're a true blessing for you. Someone that, you know, that maybe is that 10th cup of love. Maybe you're going to bump into someone that you used to pull their pigtail in school and now you're like, and bully them and that, and then you run into them and you're like, whoa, you've grown up kind of energy, you know. And like they say, don't pick on the geeks, you know, at work, because those are the ones that make all the money later in life, right? A lot of times when you're in elementary school and high school, speaking of cheerleaders, you want to be, you know, with the jocks, right? I'm not cutting down jocks here, but I'm just saying they're usually more popular than the geeky guy with glasses that's studying all the time and it's really skinny and, you know, couldn't make the football team. Someone who's on the debating team, that kind of energy is what I'm picking up. Or loves to, you know, be in the science lab or something at school. And people like maybe were like treating them like they were like, you know, a nerd and not the most popular. And now you run into them and you're like, whoa. You know, and the guy that was the jock at school that you run into, he's now been, you know, sitting in the bar. He's not playing sports anymore. He's been drinking beer and eating chicken wings. That kind of energy. And then we have this energy coming in. And that's like the Gemini spirit, kind of like two different versions of something, right? And then we have the two again here. So this is really interesting because this is like planting, there's a wand planted here. So this could be from where you came from. And then you know, you travel and you've got the world in your hands. You've got all this good energy coming in. But maybe the one thing that's missing is a special someone to share it with. And then, you know, you go to visit your family or whatever and you bump into someone that you haven't seen since... It's coming up like really young, like when you were like either in like grade school or high school. And that, you know, this could even represent high school reunion type energy. And yeah, there's some energy here that someone got stabbed in the back here and was left for unalive. And this energy is talking about the end of a cycle. I feel like this is talking about back when you were maybe... that nerd, you know, or you picked on that nerd kind of energy, and now you're all more mature, and this is a blessing in disguise that you bump into them. It's the end of a cycle of being alone, Maybe you've been feeling really successful, but you still feel alone. You have all the money, but you don't have, you were just missing that one cup of love. And now you're a rebel with a cause. You're really passionate. You ran it, like you want to, find that cup, that last cup to fulfill your life. And you're willing to travel for it. That's the kind of energy. And then this is about, this part of your life, or that part of the external forces life, is now over. This is the end of the cycle. Like, this is the 10 card. So this is about in 2026, moving into this new energy. And then this is about rowing off to calmer waters with God. So here's a lot of emotion. And now it's kind of, and that could be you. Like, this is a lot of energy here, and it's a lot of work, is what it's saying. And you've had to stay focused. And now maybe you're feeling like, hey, I'm successful enough that I've stayed on my path. I've really put the time and energy in. I'm not worried about the competition. I have time now to go and explore the world a little bit and have some peace in my life. And you notice there's 2 swords here. So this could be representing, yes, I want the thought of, okay, I have everything, but the one thing I'm missing is the cup of love. And I want to have that. I want to start a family. So it could be about that. And this quite often also represents when we're moving off to calmer waters with God. It's because we're facing what happened when we were younger. And I still feel like this is the external force energy of someone that didn't have the same upbringing and has had to reparent themselves, basically. And that's why, like, when you bump into them, like, you're like, wow, like, this is amazing. This person has so much going for them now. And and we have this energy here of, and you do notice here, I've noticed this with these cards before, and I feel like this is the energy that's being amplified here. And this is typical Gemini energy, like, really is, because Gemini is air. It's about thinking, right? Like, it's about your thoughts, and about your thoughts of who you are and what you know. And moving into the new year, this cycle is over. It's saying sometimes this can represent a closed mind, someone who just can't see what other people can see about yourself or the opportunities. It has to either be done this way or that way. You don't see, like, and this is saying you need to go inward and get to know yourself better so that you can embrace the new you. And that's what's coming up. And this is awesome because look there's the 2 swords there. And this energy, if you look, the body language in the bottom is the same. It's about a lot of energy being wasted because of, like, things from outside of you that you don't have control over, or your attitude, when things from external forces come in, wasting too much of your energy, overthinking. And maybe with this energy, because the rebel with the Knight of Wands is like a very sexy individual, and they love their wand. And so this is an energy sometimes of a real player, someone that really gets about, you know what I'm saying? And maybe now that energy, it's kind of like you meet this person and, like, it's kind of like the perfect, couple. And so both of you, this one's been leaking energy because they haven't been able to see the potential in their situations. And this one's been leaking their energy because they've been out and about, but they've never had that cup of love. So they've always kind of been out looking for it, that kind of energy. And, in our society, a lot of times women are taught, to wait for Prince Charming or the knight in shining armor to arrive. And men are taught to be that knight until you meet the person, that kind of energy. And so there's a lot of that kind of energy. What do you have to do to have passion in your life? And this energy is okay, so the leaking of the energy, and then look at the upper body energy here. This person is overthinking everything and maybe has a closed mind as to how to solve the problem, using their intuition as well as logic. And this person, look at the hothead there, that energy there has been like out and about, looking for love in all the wrong places. That's the kind of energy. So now, like, this is all coming together here in 2026, and we have justice. So this is such a funny story. This is so the perfect love story, but not one that you would read in the old Harlequin romance novels. It's like an imperfectly perfect relationship because both of these people have been imperfectly perfect. And this justice is coming in, and the justice is recognizing, hey, we're all human, and we're learning how to, get neutral to the two extremes. When we start acting in extreme ways, like one way or the other, this or that, then that energy, we can end up like missing out on opportunities. And so justice is when we can actually become neutral to what's happened. And it's also can be justice for our ancestors and our descendants. This is generational wealth. So I feel like if these two people do come together here, like that Gemini energy, there's twins, right? So this could be someone that is like a soulmate to you or that kind of energy. And it's justice that you meet them. And yeah, I feel like there we have it. This is supposed to, you both deserve to have like this good, beautiful life. And if you enjoy each other and, maybe you're destined to be with someone. And I'm just getting, it's going to be someone that you don't really, and right away this card wants to pop out. So I was just about to say that I am, if you're enjoying this reading, please do like and comment. And also, I'm going to clarify now, and I'm using my Oracle Tales from the Vector. And this is something I started in 2007. And I completed the 64th painting in 2020. I'm an artist, and this is from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And the first painting was like, they're big, big dragons, like big paintings. Dragons like their paintings to be big. And I didn't know anything about dragons when I started painting them. These dragons are from the future, though. They're not from the past. And I worked on this, and in between I was doing my thing. And I have... I've had these cards out at seminars and a lot of psychic fairs for several years, but I didn't have all the paintings done. And now that they're all done, I'm working on bringing this out and into the physical form, this oracle. And I am working on the manual, like the booklet that goes with it. So I want to play with it a little bit. And so I really do appreciate your energy because it's allowing me to get the information to put in the booklet. And then I will print this thing, get it done. And the card that wanted to pop out here is attachment. Okay, so that's really interesting. So this is... attachment is a karmic space. It's actually like the mother of all the karmic spaces that people commonly fall into. And it's like when you become really attached to the way things should be, that, you can't see a different way like that, this kind of energy here. And so, I'm also getting like, it's sitting on this competition because I really feel it's a game that like the extreme difference in the way that this person that is probably, someone that you really could end up wanting to be with, that they were raised very differently from how you were raised kind of energy. Because here we have the commitment, marriage, and partnerships. That's the house for that. And this is the house of transformation, death, secrets, and shared resources. And then we have here the higher learning and travel and education. And, I feel like this energy, the Gemini energy here, is someone who is raised with like, professionals and people that were used to money and that you were taught how to achieve success and were educated and there was enough money to do so. And this energy is talking about the other extreme where it was really challenging and they had to learn everything the hard way. But this was a blessing in disguise because this person needed to learn those things. You know, that's what their soul wanted. And this one needed to maybe had that kind of experience in the past, and now this is, you know, in a past life, or if you believe in past lives. If you don't believe in past lives, it can be your grandparents or something, and all the stories of what they went through to be able to get you into this position. And then we have the career, your education, your public, you know, your public image. And that's why I feel like it's kind of like this person went through a lot, and then they chose to go for calmer waters, and they started opening their mind, okay, this or that. And this new year is really bringing that energy out for a lot of people. Like the universe is really supporting it. And we have, this is in the position of blessings and friends and humanitarianism. So it's kind of like the energy of seeing the world in a different way. It's not this or that. You're opening your eyes to, or that other person has opened their eyes to this energy of what can be, and seeing themselves differently, right? So, because when you're leaking energy like this, it causes a lot of missed opportunities. And when you have this energy of closing your upper body, like that's, you know, your heart energy, your heart's desires. It's saying like you're focusing on what needs to be done rather than on being who you are. And then this justice is like just the justice of you coming together, but it's in, this is talking on from the spiritual brain coming to earth, and this is about secrets and endings. And so it's kind of like, yeah, I'm getting that you'll be like blown away, because you'll be like, I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that, you know, because you were attached to, okay, like it's supposed to be this way. Really, really interesting energy. It's fun. It's fun. And I'm getting you would have a lot of fun with this person, and they would have a lot of fun with you, and be able to learn a lot from each other, and have like those two perspectives coming in. So at the bottom of the deck to clarify the temperance is jealousy. So that's, you know, who wouldn't be jealous of this kind of energy, you know? And so this can talk about sibling rivalry also, but I feel like this is more about like how life is for the planet, you know, that kind of energy. We're all siblings on the planet. And the clarification on this is Gemini. So Gemini, this is you coming in and saying, yes, this is me. this is me here. And this is talking about, yes, you know, it's about learning the ropes, you know, at the kindergarten level, understanding that there's creative solutions and logic. Whereas this person, I feel, was raised to do what's logic. Like they didn't have time or the money to be able to do what they needed. You know, they just had to keep going, like to be able to put food on the table. And then this energy here is talking about some sort of energy coming in. So this is some form of temptation coming in. I feel like maybe there was times like when you were on your path, you know, Gemini, like a lot of times Gemini energy is accused of like being two different people, but it's more like being, it's a double-edged sword. There's two, you know, there's two edges to the sword. And it's kind of like, you know, while other people were off and maybe doing things like that were more fun and weren't so responsible, you stayed on your path. And you didn't get tempted. And so that's why you stayed focused, and that's why you have what you have. And this person maybe, you know, had more of a wild life than that, you know, kind of energy. That they were going through trial and error, you know, in the school of life rather than in a educational facility such as a university. And so whenever this card comes up, because you're not going to get the truth from the devil. This is temptation. It's like not coming from you. It's coming from outside of you. And it's about, oh, I want to do things the easy way. I want to go and have fun. I don't want to have to study. I want to party, you know, but then doing things the correct way and watching other people have more fun than you. And now you're in a position where you know, you have all of this going for you, and you can go out there as a mature adult and really get what you want and be of benefit to the planet. And so this energy here is just talking about abuse of power. And so that could be this competition energy here of, like, you know, people saying, oh, come on, you're like such a, you know, like, quit being like such a geek, you know, that kind of energy. Like, you know, trying to, like, the competition saying, wow, we, you know, why don't we want what he has and we can't get it ourselves, and not, instead of working towards it, they just want to wreck it for you kind of energy, or they want to take it from you. And then we have and this is sitting on the King of Swords. This is someone with authority. So if this is someone that never grew up, that was always a bully and just decided, hey, that's the way they were taught to do things, and I'm going to take the power I have, and I am going to run over these people kind of energy, you know, because I can. I'm going to do it because I can. And then this is the energy of the adolescent, the, you know, working on, and again, it's like really wanting, like, not letting your emotions get away with you so that you go off and do things that you regret later, but staying kind of in that roller coaster of emotions. That Cancer energy is very adolescent, girls energy. Like, it's kind of, and this is when young women are starting to become young women, and they start getting their cycle, and those hormones can make them very volatile. You may have noticed if you've ever been around that. And I just want to point out, when the signs come up, the zodiac signs come up in a general reading like this, they might represent people in your story and you recognize it right away, and that might be true, but that's not my intention. My intention is to talk about the state of being of this energy. And this is like, the Gemini is the third zodiac sign in the zodiac, and it's about ready to go to school, ready for kindergarten. And the Cancer energy is right after that, is about, you know, adolescence. And, you know, think about how much young girls feel, you know, they're really into their emotions. And then we have the karmic space of pride. I feel like this is talking about, yeah, like how generations, how we're raised, how that can cause us to fall into karmic spaces, you know. And so pride is kind of like this energy of, I'm going to have it all or I'm going to have nothing, like going for it, that kind of energy, and feeling like I can do it, having the pride in yourself to be able to do it and get it. And if you don't have that pride because you've never been taught that, then it's going to be a very different dynamic. And Libra, a mature adult energy coming in. So this is the marriage card also sitting right on ultimate fulfillment. So I feel like there's a potential for two people to get together here, and they'll be really good for themselves, probably raised very differently. But I'm getting that on some level, just like that Gemini energy, even though you appear very different, or you appear very similar on the outside, inside you're two different personalities, or it could be the opposite of that kind of energy. So it's this Libra energy is saying, yeah, this is like about marriage and about socializing and just being a mature adult and really having a lot of anticipation for the future, like being through the more challenging part, done school, like have the paper, finished the apprenticeship, ready to move forward, that kind of energy. And then we have on this is, it's a tactic, so degrading someone. Yeah, that's about the bullying. You know, so many problems in the planet would be solved if people didn't, if people took the bullying that happens in elementary school and in high school and that way more seriously, and that it was taken as like, hey, we need to do something about this. And people, if you're an adult and you go to work every day and there's someone in, you know, at work that's degrading you, you can go and, as an adult, you can express that, and you can, you know, go to the H&R and you can really be like, do something about it, and you can, you know, stay at it until you get treated properly. But when you're a young child, like a lot of times there's not even you know, they might not have parents that take it seriously, that kind of energy. Like, and the school doesn't take it seriously. And people say, oh, well, it's just kids being kids. But that, no. It's kids who were taught to be that way, being kids that were taught to be that way. And then we have, yeah, so destruction. So that's the energy I'm feeling. Like that's the kind of energy coming out. And it could have even been the two of you were both bullied, and it's both sides, right? One came from this side of the tracks and this one came from this side of the tracks, but both of you felt like that, but then you haven't seen each other, or it could have been one or the other, you know, that kind of energy. You weren't like the cool kid out in the smoking patio back in the days, you know, and that's, when I was going to high school, they actually had a smoking patio for kids that were going to school in grade 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 that smoked for, you know, and you could go out there and you could and have cigarettes, like, and they had breaks so that you could do so. And that's where all the cool kids hung out. And then we have, times have changed a lot. That was in, you know, like that's when there was no helicopter parenting. And you had to learn things the hard way. That's the energy that I'm picking up. And this was a really, it was one of the top, like, most celebrated new high schools in Canada at the time. We even had the Prime Minister come in and open it, because it was like they had a data center. That's when computers were first coming out. They had a workshop. They had all this, like, you know, this really amazing, you know, for children, or for, you know, students that wanted to get into like the arts, or if you wanted to get into computer, and like it was brand new then. Like, I remember our data center, it was just huge, like computers. It was a big room, and if you walked by, you could just feel the heat coming off of it, you know, that kind of energy. And then we have, so that's kind of like the changes, you know, that happen. But we have the hangman here sitting on this. So this has been a while for this balance to come in. And it's just saying, like, the hangman hangs from the tree of knowledge, and they hang there and they're upside down, and they have like this energy of, they want to see things from all angles. And then when they can see, okay, I've conferred, I've meditated, I've prayed, I've done what I need to do, and I am going to move forward in a balanced way. It's that kind of energy. And the chariot. So this is saying this energy is really moving in, like it's already moving, this energy. And then we have the moon. And so this is about reckless abandon. Like, once you discipline your mind, then you have freedom to, and reckless, WRECK. So you can move forward in a more anticipatory, rather than having limiting expectations. And this energy here is a blessing in disguise in that case. And it's talking again about that moon energy that we just had. We just had the new moon in Sagittarius. And then we've moved into the Capricorn energy on the 20th and 21st. And that's when the solstice was. And so now we, on the solstice on the 21st, that's when we have the longest night and the shortest day. And now, at this time, the day is getting longer and the nights are getting shorter. You can't tell yet, but it's happening. And that's kind of the energy. And then Taurus energy. So the Taurus is the toddler. So we have like, sorry, I just bounced this, so it's going to be vibrating for a second here. We have the kindergarten energy, we have the adolescent, like, grade 7, grade 8 girls energy, we have the mature adult, and we also have Taurus, which is the toddler. And the toddler is, has to learn to give and take, and how to share, and that kind of energy. And quite often there's a lot of temper tantrums. It's kind of like it's a volatile energy. And so it requires, I feel like that's on this card here. So having to learn things the hard way, energy. And then we have deception. So this energy is kiss me good. There's a war between men and women. that kind of energy. And that's the biggest deception that we have. Men and women, you know, each and every one of us, whether we're a man or a woman, we have masculine and feminine energy. And, you know, that's something, and we are, I feel like this is representing this Gemini energy coming together in one person, like reconciling your masculine and your feminine energy so it's more balanced, like the hangman, so that you can see a different perspective. That's really good advice for all of us. And then we have the Emperor. And so the Emperor is all four kings rolled into one. And the Emperor is about performance and justice. And the Emperor is like a very highly authoritative figure that is really admired because they, like as I said, they have all the qualities of all the kings rolled into one, and they are able to, you know, use all those qualities to be able to be a really strong leader. And I feel like it's talking, like it's so cool because this is like typical Gemini energy. Like it's all so typical of Gemini. I love it. It's kind of talking about, okay, this is the formal education from a professional family meeting someone that was on the other side of the tracks kind of energy and having to learn things the hard way. But the energy comes together, you know, and I feel like the energy together is the Emperor. Like these combined personalities and these combined skills are a really awesome couple, because sometimes opposites can really empower each other by saying, well, I did it this way, and you know, this is what happened when I was a kid, and I did it this way. And you can take the best of both worlds and put it together and really function at a really high level. Thank you, Gemini. This is really good advice. It's kind of been a fun reading. I hope you've also enjoyed it. Please like and comment if you have. And consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. It would be my honor if you did so. I will be back. I'm going to do my best to put out a full moon. That's on January 3rd. As well, if I have time to do it. And if you celebrate Christmas, happy Christmas Eve. Bye for now.